Okay, this is the tutorial for the Jumping Gemini Card Trick. Very cool, small 4-card packet trick. Can be impromptu if you want it to be. For this trick, you need 4 cards and 4 cards only. You use 2 kings, a red and a black, a 10 of spades, and a 2 of hearts. Is the normal, typical setup. Although you can use any 4-card combination. You could have 2 jokers here. Versus 2 kings, as long as this is a pair. I like to use the diamonds and clubs. For whatever reason, a lot of people happen to remember the hearts and spades, and you're also already using hearts and spades anyways. So I like to use the 2 offsuits. So that way you can show these kings twice at the end, and if you show them fast enough, people don't really pay attention to it. So the setup is as follows: the 2, the 10, and the 2 kings. And those are face down on top of the deck. Now to start the trick, you just very easily deal the top 3 cards down like that. When you go to deal the 2 of hearts, you scoop all 4 cards underneath of it. Or you scoop up the 3 cards on the table with the 2 of hearts. You can put the deck aside because you don't need that now. So now your setup should look like that. A 2, the 2 kings or 2 jokers, and then the 10. And as the pattern goes, you'd say, okay, the object is to follow the 2 of hearts. Okay, now you tell them, okay, so where's the 2 of hearts? And they say, okay, on the bottom. And you tell them, okay, they're right. But you say, what if I reverse the order? Now here you perform an Elmsley count. Elmsley count, for those of you who don't know, is when you take the top card off, okay, just 1 card, and then when you go to count 2, you push 2 cards off. So I have 2 cards here. Push 2 cards off as 1, while stealing that bottom card that you originally dealt off, that original top card, back into your dealer hand. So now you've just counted 2, 3, which is your 2, and 4, which is your original top card, 10 of spades. Okay? So now your setup is 2 kings, the 2 hearts, the 10 of spades. And you say, well, if I reverse the order, then obviously the 2 hearts would be on top. And all you gotta do is just very easily just perform a double lift. Doesn't matter how. Show that the 2 of hearts is on top. Okay? Flip both those 2 cards, flip them face down. Take that 10 of spades, which is actually the real top card, place it at the bottom, and go, but if I snap my fingers like that, the 2 of hearts remains on top. Fan out the cards just like this, with the 2 hearts face up still. Take it, turn it face down, place it 3rd from the top. Okay? Now, here's a little trick that I like to do to set you up for the triple lift that's coming up. When I square up the cards, I like to hold the cards in like a biddle grip, okay, while grabbing or pulling down with my pinky that bottom card. Okay, and that sets me up for a break, so that way I can get to that triple lift rather easily. And I go, but if I snap my fingers again, and then you do the triple lift, show the 2 hearts is still on top. Take all 3 cards, okay, turn those face down, and deal the king onto the table. And as before, you go, but if I snap my fingers, and as again, you do a double lift, the 2 hearts is still on top. Okay? Take that next card, which would be the other king, place it on the bottom of the stack, or the packet. So that would be your setup. Snap your fingers, wave your hand, whatever, and just flip over the top card to show the 2 of hearts. Okay, now this is something I like to do here. I like to slightly pull down the top card, which would be the 10 of spades, just ever so slightly, and when I flip over the 2 of hearts, square up the 2 of hearts with that 10 of spades. And the reason why I like to do this is because then I can grab, for the next move, you grab both cards as 1, so you have 2 cards here, 10 of spades, 2 of hearts, 10 of spades on bottom, and you deal them as 1 card like it's the 2 of hearts to the bottom. So in reality now you've made it to where you have king 2, 10. And as before, you say, okay, but if I snap my fingers, you do a double lift again, show the 2 of hearts is still on top. Flip both cards over and deal that other king onto the table. Snap your fingers, show the 2 of hearts is still on top. Now here, take the 2 of hearts, turn it down, put it on the bottom. Alright, so you got the 10 of spades and the 2 of hearts, and scoop up the 2 kings off the table. So now you're back to your original setup, king, king, 10, 2. And then you go, okay, but, well, as the pattern goes, you say, well, then you say I'm playing with 4 2 of hearts, but in reality I'm not. And then as before, what you do is you do a triple lift, okay, show a 10 of spades. Now here's a little interesting thing that I do to set myself up for showing the 10 of spades 4 times, is that when I flip them back down over, I kind of leave them slightly outjogged, using the white of the borders of the cards, slightly outjogged towards me. So that way when I deal the top card off as if it was the 10 of spades that I just showed, then I can easily grab those 2 cards, that double lift, and flip it back over to show, oh, but the second card is a 10 of spades. Same thing, push down with your thumb, grab both cards as one, flip over, deal that second card over as if it was a 10 of spades, and say, oh, but the third card is also a 10 of spades. So now what you've done is you've shown the 10 of spades 3 times, but in reality it's the same one. Now here's a little tricky part to it, to show it the 4th time. You flip it over face down, collect the cards back up, and as you're dealing them back off, what you want to do is you want to steal this bottom card. You're basically switching the cards like this, okay? But what you do is you steal that bottom card and you use this 2 of hearts, that bottom card, to flip the card over into your hands. Do it fast enough and it looks like the bottom card is the 10 of spades, okay? Put all the 4 cards back together, and this is basically just like a false count. You show the 10 of spades. You have to do this rather quickly, but you show the 10 of spades, take the top card off, which of course isn't the 10 of spades, show the 10 of spades again, top card off, 10 of spades again, top card off, 10 of spades again. So now your setup right now should be king, king, 2, 10. And then you're like, well, who plays with 4 10 of spades? Then I really don't have 4 10 of spades. And what you do now is you take the top and bottom card off at the same time, doing like a biddle steal. You go from biddle grip, doing a biddle steal, taking the top and bottom card off at the same time, turning these 2 cards over as one to show a king. Okay, and then you go ahead and lay those cards down, deal that top card off, which would be the 2, onto the table. But they think it's a king. You perform the same move again, but instead of this time you don't steal the bottom card, you just merely peel the top card off, taking these 2 cards as one, show the other king. Okay? And then you deal that card off, which is really the 10 of spades. And now all you have to do here, I still deal from the bottom so that way it looks all the same. Push the bottom card over, flip it over to show a king here, and flick right here to show the other king. And now you've just shown that all 4 cards are kings, and you've finished the trick. And that is Jumping Gemini. Hope you enjoy.